2020 was a lemon of a year.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I love you.
January, February, into March and April. Same way through. Every single second, every minute, every hour. All the whole year through.
It is intense right here.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's a lot of lemons.
Well, you know what they say, when life gives you
We
lemons.
know the saying, Mark.
You know the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And when we were thinking about the year 2020 and talking about the year-end review and getting ready for this meeting, it really summarized this last year. It was an incredible year. It started out absolutely incredible. Do you realize it was January 10th of 2020 that the church gathered for a special business meeting, you members, and we voted to purchase 3295 College Road and the 10 acres directly behind the building. In fact, it's the building we're sitting in right now. Mm-hmm. It was last January we purchased it, or we approved the purchase of it, and we closed on it at Yukon Title on the 31st of January. We started prepping, we got the engineers, architects engaged, and then it hit on daylight savings time, the weekend of the 15th of March last year. We made a last minute decision. The governor had said gatherings of over 250 should shut down. We took the high road and said, for the love of our neighbor, we're going to shut down.
Right.
And so the church, we locked the doors of the building. Yep. But, you know, here's what we learned about True North during the lockdown is the doors can be closed, but the church is always open. Why don't we talk about, some of the greatest things happened in 2020.
You know, we went into 2020 expecting one thing, and, you know, God's a big God. God's going to do what he's going to do. And when the doors were closed, the True North found a way to be visible in the community. You saw those yellow stickers all the way around town, everywhere you could see. This is a year of lemons, but True North is still there. Yeah. We started holding our Facebook competitions, really engaging people through our Sunday, online gatherings, making sure that people knew we're still there and we want you here with us. We drove pizza to people's houses, dropped it on their porches, made sure we were safe and social distance.
Awesome.
We did an outreach event to get people engaged and get people, safely out of the doors of their house, and we did what we called the Corona 500. It's like, here are different ways that you can go around.
The great stay in your car race.
Great stay in your car race. And we started our Zoom life groups, and we had a massive number of people that signed up.
Attendance.
That people wanted to engage, and we just kept finding new ways for people to do it. We opened up the building of the church. People could come by at the beginning of the month. They could come by and get disinfected communion elements and still partake in the communion, so they could come by.
We had our face masks and our rubber gloves, and we prepackaged them in Ziploc freezer bags.
We still wanted people to understand that, even though the building is closed, we're here, True North is here, and we are a community.
Yeah. And I think when it all started, we all probably thought, this is a couple, let's flatten the curve.
Yep.
And so we thought, okay, it's going to be 4 weeks, we're going to be done.
Right.
And we thought we'll be back open for Easter. And I think a couple weeks before Easter, we realized, okay, we're not going to be open for Easter.
Nope.
Yeah. And so we started asking the question, how can we be True North? Because True North is a church that says we'll do anything short of sin to reach people far from Jesus. We'll do what no one's doing to reach people no one's reaching. And so I remember we said, let's call CBS. I wonder what it costs to get on CBS. And so actually called CBS, and they were looking for content. Yeah. And so for Easter Sunday, we went on CBS last year. Right. And so we asked the question, well, what's it cost to be on every week? And so we've been on CBS every week since. Yeah. And so when life gives you lemon, make lemonade.
Right.
Instead of focusing on what we can't do, we've always had the motto at True North, what can we do? Rob, what are some other things that we did? Because True North Church is a city church.
Yes.
Right. And so we engaged in our city.
One of our favorite, I shouldn't say we have favorites, but one of our favorite community partners is the Fairbanks Food Bank.
Yeah.
And we put on the one-day food drive and got one of their largest single-day food drives ever, delivered them over 4,000 pounds of food in
Incredible.
one day. We honored graduates from the community around the church area there and beyond. We set up a drive-through where they could come through, a big banner saying congratulations, great job. You know, it was a strange year for them, but we wanted our seniors to
Absolutely.
know we're a church for you. We're
Right.
still here for you. If you drove by our church during all of this, you might have seen a large lemon-colored school bus out front because we became a pickup lunch destination. And in fact, it says we are the #1 site for school pickups.
Right.
We gave out more meals than any other pickup. We were also able to bless the hospital employees with the meal. We also did a cleanup day. We did a cleanup day where we got more people out involved in cleaning up our city than any other group. We landed on the front page of the News Miner because of it. And, you know, we do that not for that attention. We do it because we're a church for our city.
Yes.
And so we were really able to continue to be that even through 2020.
Yeah. You know, I look back and, you know, we knew after, you know, in May, the numbers were lower in Alaska than across the nation. And so our governor started slowly opening things up. So we knew eventually, and we actually had the thought it was going to be quite a while till we got open. But then all of a sudden the governor just like opened up.
Right.
And so on the 31st of May, we all came back.
Yeah.
And what a powerful, I just remember that weekend. But there was something about the corporate gathering of worship.
Yes.
And I remember that day, the presence of God was so strong. And we realized again, and we know this, the church, we never closed the church. We just locked the building.
Yeah.
And but we came back, and in the process, we knew, well, you know, there's fear. Is everyone going to come back? And so we pivoted to what we called the summer schedule, and we launched with the food trucks every Wednesday night. So we had a great time. The summer was a lot of fun, and luckily we had great weather most of the Wednesday nights. And then we had 3 on Sundays, and it was, you know, slow to pick up. You know, our attendance is kind of just slowly, and all this process of COVID was, you know, our heart went out to all those military families,
Right.
that had deployed soldiers, husbands or wives or spouses or friends or aunts or uncle, and
Right.
so they were supposed to come back earlier, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and so they didn't come back till later, and so our hearts were still going out. And then when they got home, they're quarantined, and then lemons hit again. Lemons hit again. In the same day last June, Pastor Josh Dreyer comes to sit in my office and says, Mark, Lindsay and I feel like it's time to transition. And I'm going, oh man. And then 5 minutes later, Pastor Bose comes and sits in my office and says, Pastor, you know, my wife and I have been thinking about retirement. And I'm going like, we just opened the church back up. And then September hits, and Pastor Gary comes to my office and says, you know, I feel like I need to transition. And I'm thinking like lemon year. But in that time, you know, we did a summer expedition for children, did summer nights for youth. Let's talk about that, Rob. What
Yeah,
happened?
so a couple things happened in the fall as we welcomed some new team members, and we were kind of, you know, you can't, Pastor Mark, you always say, we don't replace the people
Never.
that have left.
Never.
But we do have to fill those positions. And so we filled those positions, some of them, but we weren't totally sure about a youth pastor. And when we held the Interior Youth Conference this year, we watched this incredible event happen, and we watched the team, the people that we already had in our midst, do an incredible job of connecting with hundreds of young people. And we looked at each other. In fact, I remember this specifically, Mark. It was during one of the evening gatherings. I was in the back standing in the overflow area. You walked up to me and said, we have our team. And so that's when we brought on some of those people on staff for us for youth and formed our youth team around that.
Right.
I think between our Sunday morning and our Wednesday night, in the past, they probably never crested together 140 students. And now they're almost cresting 200 plus.
Yeah.
It's just been incredible.
One of our favorite events,
Yeah.
one of our favorite communities within Fairbanks is our educational community.
Yep.
Teachers, administrators. And you know, they have had a year of lemons. And
Oh my
every August we get the chance to bless our teachers with Krispy Kreme donuts
Yes.
for their annual, what do they call those days?
Or staff development.
Staff development
teacher in
days.
service, yeah.
And this year, the in-service was all spread out. So instead of bringing all the Krispy Kreme donuts to one place, they asked us, though, would you still bring them? And we said, of course we will. And so
Yeah.
we got to drive to, I think, about 25 plus schools
Every school, yeah.
and bless our teachers. And
Wearing
everything,
gloves,
masks,
masks,
gloves.
yep.
Some schools we put it outside and backed away. But really, we did that as a way of saying thank you on the best of years, but especially this year, to our
Yeah.
educators, our administrators, and everybody running our schools for our kids and stuff in our community.
And then in the process, you know, we purchased this land and we were supposed to last May 9th was going to be a groundbreaking. We
Yeah.
talked to the mayor. We had our superintendent for the Assemblies of God flying up. We had to organize the whole plan. We had an excavator that was going to be here. We started to order the gold hats and shovels and all that stuff. But in the process, in the middle of summer, again, we feel like there's been lemons, but the owners of the land west of us, the 6.3 acres west of the property we purchased on College Road, right on the road, came to us. It wasn't for sale when we bought this.
Yep.
They said no. They came to us and said, well, are you interested in buying it? And so, you know, what happened? November 10th, what happened?
On November 10th, we made public to the voting members that this was an opportunity, and we took the vote to, you know, expand the purchase. Yes, we had to take on more mortgage, but, you know, trusting God that this opportunity in 2020 to, you know, expand to even 17 acres on College Road was what we felt like God was doing. We took a vote as a voting membership, and we expanded that purchase from the 11 acres we'd already taken, another 6 acres. Now we have 17 acres on College Road.
It's crazy to think in 2020, we started the year with no land.
Yeah.
And by the end of 2020, because on the 23rd of December, we closed on the 6.3 acres just west behind us here where
Yeah.
we're sitting. And so we own 17 acres. Our indebtedness is $3.7 million. We're sitting in a 19,000 square foot building that's being remodeled for a campus.
Yeah.
And we literally, for $3.7 million, have 17 acres and a 19,000 square foot building.
Right.
There's a couple things in December we do every year. One is 12 Days of Christmas, and one's Legacy Offering. So Rob, maybe talk a little bit about 12 Days of Christmas, kind of the highlights of it. And then Dan, I want you to, you know, obviously people know, but Legacy Offering, talk about that.
And 12 Days of Christmas every year is one of the biggest ways we get to partner with our community partners, reach out. And so this year, we partnered with a rehab location. We went to them and said, how can we help? And they said, you know what? Our people need winter jackets. We partnered again with organizations in town to provide duffel bags to help foster kids ease the transitions that they were going through in their life. And we were also able to partner with Salvation Army and do bell ringing. And, you know, I'll admit, I get a little bit competitive, and so I always like us to see their best bell ringers every year, and I'm pretty sure we were again this year. With different partnerships throughout the city, youth got involved with homeless children and helping out with the door and Fairbanks Youth Advocates, and just a number of other opportunities through 12 Days of Christmas, which led up to the Legacy Offering.
Legacy Offering we do every year, and we've actually transitioned to calling it our Kingdom Builders Legacy Offering. We reached out to organizations in town. What are some big projects that you have? So we have one for the Women's Rescue that we are helping them fund a project for housing. We're helping with the Chi Alpha House and helping them as far as their expansion process. And, you know, we're constantly looking for other organizations that are building tabernacles and chapels in other parts of the world. So, you know, we go out to really seek people's hearts in donating forward for the projects we know are coming in 2021.
So we kind of set an aggressive goal, and we were hoping for $65,000. I think told people prophetically, yeah, we're gonna have 75,000, but we were hoping for 65.
Yeah.
And Dan, what happened?
You know, True North did what True North does, and you know, when all was said and done over those 2 weeks, you know, leading up to the end of the year, we had over $103,000 in Legacy Offering donated for those projects.
We're so proud of you as a church.
Right. Yeah.
So proud of all that you do. And as we just celebrate, I mean, it was a lemon year, but we made lemonade. One of the best blessings of COVID was realizing I had more time to work on my messages, my sermons, and I realized I had to restructure our staff. And so what you see here in front of you would be our executive team here at True North. And everybody on staff is I consider myself the most spoiled, blessed pastor alive, because our team, I think, is the best in the world. We have an incredible team.
Yeah.
But we kind of redefined the lead team that I, as the team leader pastor, I'm the visionary. I'm the person that kind of says, here's where we're going. Dan is over business, finances, facilities. He's the make it work guy. Make the keys work, make the finances work, make the business side work, make the facility side work. And then Rob is the let's keep things moving. So Rob oversees the pastoral staff, the pastoral team, the ministries, the calendar, kind of where's the vision going. And we have an incredible team. I just want to say thanks for making 2020 such an incredible year. Sure appreciate you and proud of you. And church, love you.
Yeah.
And when life gives you lemons, we're going to make lemonade. And True North did it in 2020.
Yeah.